So what do you look at the end of the month, quarter, or year to make sure your books are the best that they can be? Well, here's a few tips for you to look at. One is after you reconcile your bank statement or credit card statement or any other statements you might have, you want to see what is in uncleared transactions. This is something that is in your check register, but it didn't show up on a bank statement yet. An example would be you wrote somebody a check and they haven't cashed it yet. That would be an unclear transaction. And that would be fine if it sits there for a few months because maybe they haven't cashed the check. But what happens if there's a fuel expense? Well, that can mean a couple of things. One is that it's a duplicate and one needs to be deleted. The second is that maybe you fat fingered it and then when you went to go match everything, you realized, oh, this isn't in there, and then entered it. And so then it would also have to be deleted. Or it could possibly be that instead of paying with a debit card, because you're looking at the checking account, you paid it with a credit card and it's just in the wrong register and it needs to be moved. The last option is that maybe you paid it for like a personal or with cash. And in that case, it needs to be completely reassessed in how it gets put into your books to begin with. So unclear transactions is one of the things you should look at. The other one is for if you're working with a bookkeeper and they have questions, they might put things under Ask My Accountant or Miscellaneous. These are also items that should be addressed so you know that they're put into the right accounts so your P&L and your cost of goods sold and your GP is all looking right. Another one, and this is especially true in QuickBooks Online, sometimes it has a mind of its own and it guesses or thinks where it wants you to put things. And if it doesn't know, it uses these accounts called uncategorized assets and uncategorized expenses. And it will default there if it doesn't know what it is. Those need to be fixed. Before you add them, you need to make sure that the account is correct so it's going in the right account. Another thing that I see people forgetting or not making sure of is when you go make a deposit, and if you are one who uses undeposited funds, you want to pretend like you're making a deposit. And when you make that deposit, you will see if there are things that need to be added. And say you're in the month of January and you see things that are in November, one or two things have happened. One is that you've got some kind of duplicate entry going on, or two, somehow that check is hiding underneath the seat in your car and it never made its way to the bank. Things like that. You have to make sure you know where your money is. So making sure that there's nothing outstanding in your undeposited funds, and you would see that if you go make bank deposits, that would be another thing to check. The last two ones is making sure your accounts receivable looks appropriate, that there's no negative numbers. Negative numbers mean that you're possibly missing an invoice or a invoice was overpaid and the invoice needs to get adjusted. And then look at your accounts payable. Did you actually accidentally create a bill and then wrote a check and didn't do receive payments? And so the check's there, but the bill's still there, and what do we need to do? These are all different things you can do to make sure your books are looking healthy. But if you have any questions with that, guess who can help you? Gina with Green Tree Bookkeeping. Thanks for listening today.
Hi, I'm Tristan, Gina's son. I know it's been a while, but make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, make suggestions as to what other videos we could do in the future. Until then, this is Green Tree Bookkeeping, the place where you can hang your hat on.